Somebody said you had to be a rocket scientist to trade. You got to be cool though. Oh Lord.
Got to keep your cool, that's for sure.
Boy, that's for sure. Okay. That's the one thing. That's the hardest part. You know, and I keep making this statement. Kathy Lane. Let's go ahead and turn them on, and I'll let me go ahead and start broadcasting. They're seeing my screen.
The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Oh, guys, how are the boys and girls? Are you there? Send me a hi on the chatsy. Can you hear me? Okay, great. You can hear me okay. I was telling Craig and Chris that I reread that chapter in Kathy Lean, one of Kathy Lean's books, and she says, and I'm more firmly convinced than ever, that it's psychologically impossible, or virtually psychologically impossible, to enter the trade at the appropriate or the best point. And I was going back through some of the charts this morning, and today in the second half I'm going to teach you something about, other people call it scalping, I just call it a primo. I mentioned it last time, and it's a method for you guys that want that 10, 15, or 30 pips every day and then not have to fool with anything. I've got a way that we've perfected that makes it a lot easier for you than just the normal trading things that you see out there. So we're going to have that later today, and I'm going to introduce a couple of additions to thing. You know, this guy Max McAnder, he jumped on me in that post. I sent you guys a copy of it. That he said, well, you're always changing stuff. Well, I never change anything. I just add the stuff to it that belongs to it. And the guy really never got the concept or the system that this was an entire system. And, you know, you change the tires on a car from time to time. You change this, you do that. Everything in your life, there's rarely anything that's static in your life. And anybody that shows me a static trading system, I'm going to show you a losing system. Over time, it's got to lose. Or it'll bore you to death, and it won't make very much money. It's like these EAs. Dr. Jeff Wild is out on the internet. He's a trader, and he's got a series going now about the bad and the good, bad, and the ugly about EAs. And when you find an EA that makes you money, the brokers are going to cut you out on that. They're going to make it difficult for you. But that's not even the bad part. The bad part is that over time, anything that's dynamic, you can't use a static program to make money. I don't care how you do it. There's always going to be some exception to the rules there. I'm going to put a chart up here now to show you, but just remember, when I show you what I'm going to show you in the second half of the program today, it's going to be, when you see it on the right-hand side of the chart, it's virtually psychologically impossible to make that entry right there. It's just a tough thing to do. And so we're going to see if we can help you overcome that through the max training and subsequent graduate training. Now, this is where we left off last Tuesday night. And I want to tell you, and this is no joke, Craig and Chris have never heard me say this before, but this is the best class I've had in getting the concept of the Mo and M's and W's, what it takes to spot these transitional periods in the change of trend or change of direction. You guys have done it's not perfect by any means, but it is so far better than the first 5 or 6 classes. It's not even funny. And virtually very little has changed on what we teach, except maybe few of the little tweaks have helped that. But you guys have done your homework, and I can tell. And the only way you're going to own this and do good with it is to do those scrolls. I can't make you do them. The guys the 3 people that we've had complain about the max, only 3 in a year and a half. Maybe some of them just didn't speak up, but only 3 of them, I know damn well they didn't do the homework. So they don't have a clue. They still didn't understand what was going on, and you guys are beginning to get that. And it's because you've done your homework. Your homework this time was much better. Not perfect, but it's getting there much faster. I've never had by the third through the third thing, guys that have homework has been as good. You've taken the time to do it right. You just didn't slop it together. And I've had to chew some of you out because, listen, I can spot bad homework. I can spot that stuff. I mean, hell, Chris and Eusebio and Lily, all of us can spot that bad homework. And we're not trying to hurt your feelings, but some of you deserve to be kicked in the ass. And the rest of you, though, about 70 to 80% of you are really making an effort to do the homework. Because that's the only way you're going to get out of this and say, Jim taught me something, because I didn't teach you anything. You taught yourself. I laid it out there for you, and that's the best I can do. So if I fail and you fail and don't think the max is any good, guess who failed? Not me. It was you. And you guys are getting it. You guys are interested in doing something with your trading. Enough said about that. Don't have anything to review today. I just want to make sure we go through and get what's the important highlights for today. So I'm going to introduce you to a couple of new things. This is the chart where we left off last time. There's the MACD in color, which goes with the diamonds. And now that we've had the diamonds for a couple of sessions, I'm going to remove the MACD from the indicator window right there. See, so it's gone. Now it's still in my template, but I'm going to add some other stuff. So what I'm going to do is switch to a Patience 4, which this is session 4, with the new stuff on it. Max 4. Now you're going to see some new stuff. This is the tiger tunnels that you've all heard about. And nothing's perfect, but these are as close to being able to predict the movement of prices I've ever seen, although nothing can do it with the Forex, because it'll turn right around and make a liar out of me or anybody else that says they can predict it. It just isn't possible. Excuse me. So these are the tiger tunnels, and you're going to get a template with these on there, and they're already set. Lily, our graduate student who's not in this training this time, but he went through and figured out, or set it, these tunnels, so that these tunnels, you don't have to change the width or the direction or anything of them when you go to the monthly, the daily, the weekly chart. It's all the tunnels appear in their appropriate place. So we've made that much easier than the first 2 or 3 groups before we set that. I had to have a template for the 5-minute, the 30-minute, the 1 hour, the 4 hour, daily, etc. I had to have a separate template for them. So this makes it much easier. And you guys have caught on to the Vanini, as I call it, to what it does, and you can see that it follows price very well, and you really caught on with that and using the M's and W's. Now, what I've got in here instead of the MACD in color 4, this is the accelerator oscillator. It's Bill Williams' creation, and what I've got it in for, it's just a different tumbler. The 4-hour MACD didn't do any, the MACD in color didn't do anything other than what the alert did, otherwise it just verified it. But the accelerator oscillator is another verifier for us. So we've got to add another tumbler without adding anything else that you've got to learn much about, other than the fact that when you are sitting up here wondering whether you need to get out, and you're looking up here at this area of the chart, and you say, well, should I get out? It just happens to fall right there where that patience is. And you see right here, until this thing turns red, or this is up at the top, it shows if you do get out here, and look at that, it's touching a tiger tunnel. Isn't that amazing? Your crabgrass goes on up and touches the tiger tunnel. It touches it here. It'll touch it here. It goes right along and writes along those tunnels. You see this? Look at that support that the tiger tunnel gave to that ledge right there, coming off of the balance line there, the red balance line. And look how price balanced along the home base. I want to clear something up while we're talking about home base. The middle line is actually home base. The other 2 lines are just to keep spaghetti from forming so that you take a trade too early. It's just a guideline. So once price does cross the home base line, you get to look at it as if those other lines weren't there, unless you're in a bunch of crap like this, see, and normally you are, that's why I've got them on there. So let's look down here on this mow entry right here. We'll put that up there, and your mow is going to be about right there if you with your offset there. So everything's going to have passed the center line there, the non-lag moving average, and the mow line, and the blue line has crossed up over the red balance line. So there is, your mow is entering right there when it comes off of that tiger tunnel there. You notice that closed on it and opened on it. So, and you've had your Bollinger squeeze right there, but we'll drop a line right there where your mow entry would be on the bottom of that bar. You see, this has just crossed, and it's blue. This is crossed up, and that's green going up. You've got a channel going up here, a trend line, plus your blue, it is actually another form of Bollinger Bands there. I've got it lightened up. But you can see everything is pretty much lined up. You can't line it up any better than that. This is going up. It's at the top, which normally on a good mow, you'll find that the SRO and the oboes are at the top on a good mow. On a bad mow, they'll be at the bottom or someplace else. Let me find a bad mow. See, this would be a good mow if Mother Nature wasn't sitting there, if home base wasn't there. And this is why we trade. We go up from home base and we go down. I mean, from home base we go down or we go up. We don't do any trading nearby there. The tiger tunnels, look at that. How price went right along that tiger tunnel. Okay, let's go back a ways here. I'm going to go back to where the end of the Benini is, so we can just start there. I don't know how far back it goes, 1,400 and some odd bars. I can reset that, but I haven't seen any need to. Let me spread that out. Can you guys see that chart good? You might want to spread that out for you. Can you see it better now? The bars. Okay, the Benini starts right there. On what day? Well, we'll go back a little bit before it ever starts and look at this mow here. You see, your mow, technically, this is not a good mow, except right here on your angle with your offset, you're going to see maybe that far in advance. So you've got to cross there. Actually, your safest mow, now let's go back to the safe mow, and I've graded you guys good for that. You've got that first pullback right there. This is your perfect mow. This is a mow that you can take, but sometimes it'll bounce down here, and you've seen those little U-shaped deals like this. See that? So that's why we got home base right there. So sometimes this will do the same thing, and this is why it's always safer to take this. This is a 90% mow. This is a 70% mow. And I don't know that those two. I know this is about 90%. This is probably somewhat less than 80%. 70%. But it's okay if everything else falls into place here. Let's just drop a line and see where it is. This is going down. It's on the third bar, which is stronger. This is headed down, and this is normally at the bottom. So I think you're safe there. But you don't gain a whole lot, but you gain a lot of safety here. Look, coming off of that mow, this mow, right there, your entry would be right on that bar. Look here. Look at that. Is that not perfect? Can you line them up any better? Okay, now I'm going to add one other little piece of stuff here. You guys have been crying for this. I'm not ready to give you the regular one, but I'm going to add, no, I've got to go over here to get it, Jim. I'm going to add the home base crossover alert. And this one is the one that won't drive you nuts. It's going to bing every time price crosses the home base. And I've got them colored in white here, and we're going to set them up. I don't know what side. I like to set these big because they're the ones you don't trade against. And we got them all set up. There's a sound is on. Email is on false. These settings in here are set by me experimenting many times as to get these things right. Please don't change these or you'll screw up your system. And you'll get this with the template today. Now look at that. Coming off of home base, going through home base the other way. Although, see, this never did make a mow because it started going sideways on you. You're lucky there. But when a price goes across one of those tiger tunnels like that, pay attention to it. It's just like me talking. Pay attention. Okay, now we come down here after this. You do not trade as long as the last arrow here was down. You do not trade up. Period. Later in the program today, I'm going to show you how to do that on rare instances, but it can be done. But when that is down and this is on this angle, you do not trade up. You trade down only. And you look here at your ledge, your scale ends. Where's the MACD? There's a MACD diamond right on top of that thing, right? Okay, and there's a MACD diamond right on top of that one right there. Look at this. Isn't that simple? Match the colors. And look at this. Is this not beautiful? Right there. Look at this. Right there. You don't have to take them all. And then what do you get here? Bouncing off of a tiger tunnel and the Bollinger Bands. Crabgrass. Right there. Good place to exit. It is a little early, but the point here is if as long as it goes sideways like this and this thing is coming down, even though you've got this up here, there's still no reason to stay in the trade for the danger you might you might create danger for these trades up here by trying to milk this for a few more pips. You can always, when this mow shows up right there, you can always jump right in again. Hey, that's the purpose of the mow. Look at that. So get out here while this is doing all of this kind of stuff. You don't need to be in there. I don't care what this is saying. But look what we have here in the way of tumblers. If you take even this bar right there, it's gone sideways with crabgrass. This is going up, this is going up, this has already gone up, and this is still at the bottom to show you that the trend is probably going to continue. But I would rather get out here because if you'll look at it, and since you can see the answer, the reason is that nothing good is probably going to happen here for a while because it's flat. Now, once it commits itself, even there was probably a little too early, but you have to pick someplace because that is a mow. Then you get another mow right here. If you took this one, you probably don't want to take that because they're too close together. There's always that danger of price reversing when you do this, but either one of them, you can mark them with your tumblers, and that's what those damn vertical lines are for. I'm going to teach you. Look, look, look. Everything. Wow, wow. And down here you get another exit. And why? Because everything's at the bottom. Crabgrass, look at that. This is going up. Right there. This is beginning to go up. Why would you want to stay in against this? Even this long-term thing here looks like it's stopping. So you created a more trade. I don't know how many pips that is, but by being diligent, you still got. That's good God. Oh, this is a 1 hour chart. No wonder. Wow, 678 pips right there. I'm sorry. Let me get on the old M5. Although that was beautiful. Look how it looks on the M5 chart. I can. But you see, you had practically the same thing, but your mow began a long way back. Well, no, there it is. There's your mow was different on this chart. Now look this. This is the same thing, only on the 5-minute chart. See, your mow began right there. Couldn't have it any better. This was a mow up here. Well, it's actually a mow up there. I deleted something I didn't want to delete. Well, it'll show back up. I deleted the Bollinger Bands is what I did. So there's your mow is right there, and see, this goes back to where the other mow wasn't, because we're under home base here on the 5-minute chart, but this stuff was above home base on the 1-hour chart. So your mow begins in relatively the same place. Dadgummit, it just won't let me lock in on that trend line. Yeah, there we go. I'm just going to delete the sucker. Well, I deleted something else I didn't want to delete, probably. Excuse me. Anyway, I'm too far back. But look where this trend began, and look at that mow, and you have more opportunities to get in and get out there on the 5-minute chart. So see, look at your tumblers, even without the Benini. You had that going up, this going sideways, and this going across the line there. Why am I not hitting them wrong? But there we go. But look at all these scale ends here. You got another mow coming in right there, right off of that trend line, bounced off of the balance line. You got another exit here. If not the first one, then you would take the second one right here. Because everything is, although those are going down, this started going up right here. So, but look at all the scale ends you had on just this little mow right here. You had, if you waited there, you had 90 pips twice. You had oh boy, there we go. Delete that object line. We had 46 pips or 40 pips twice. And we had 25 pips twice. So each one of these little mows can be their own separate little compartment. So let's look at what happens here now in your scale ends with the AC on there instead of the MACD. Now see, this is going down and this is going down.
Hello, John.
But you might get, beg your pardon?
Hi, looks like you've deleted the Bollinger Bands and one of the moving averages somewhere.
Well, the moving averages are all there. I think I just removed this internal tunnel there. But since I've got these things marked, I didn't want to put it back. But I will put the Bollinger. The Bollinger Bands are still there, I believe. They just I just had them marked out. I just had to reset them. Okay, let's see if they show up now. There they are. Okay. So see that this is considered just one trade in itself in a long trend. Now a lot of people would be happy with that. How many pips did we get on that? 310. And you know, and that's a week's work. Have you guys noticed that one guy on the Forex Truth that says I made 3,000 pips last week, and he only enters these trades on Sunday night and gets out on Friday? I can't wait to see what he's doing. Oh boy, you know, it can't be that easy, but maybe it is. Okay, now look, you've got another mow coming here, right here. Price comes under right there. There's your mow. Actually, you had one right there, which is nothing, no problem. That's okay. And you had one right there, really, when you get them. So all of those that bouncing off of the mow line, off the balance line there, you're okay. But look what happens with this one, this separate mow, in this long trend of stuff. Safely, you could exit here, even though it's crabgrass, but now you see you've got the railroad tracks there. And that's always a sign of an exit for me, especially when it backed up to a tiger tunnel there. And then you've also got your yellow bar or blue bar there, and you also have the cross of the SRO crossing over the X, tells you early exit right there. Then look what happens. It goes sideways from there. So Mother Nature sends you these signals, and my job is to make you smart enough to recognize them. Now, this is the second mow out of this trend line, so we'll start right there. You had 139, well, 130 twice. We'll knock off some for the spread. And we would have probably, let me mark the MX. I just, see, this is telling you good MX place, Tiger Tunnel. So the MX would have been worth 35, and then the second mow entering would be 130 twice, and the third one would be just before that big 120 twice. How many is that? Randy, if you ask me that one more time, I'm not liking that. I'm going to show you when the time comes. Now, you do your own F12s. I'm showing you what to look for, and you keep asking me for F12s. It doesn't look the same on F12s because it's over here to the right side of the chart. If you'll notice, here, now if you want to learn to trade, you listen to me, and you do your homework, and when it gets time, I'll show you the F12. You've got a trade simulator to do what I tell you to do. I don't have time to do F12s through charts in a 1-hour training session. This is training, not trading. Excuse me, guys. Okay, anyway, 120. How many? 765 or 665 even is a lot of pips. So you don't have to see F12. What you've got to look for when this is coming down is you've got to look for price crossing there. That's all you need to see right there on an F12. This is going down and everything, and you take your little vertical line, and right there at that point, when it crosses that, you drop your vertical line. Now, I don't have the full. I'm just showing you what it looks for, what to look for up here. Okay. Now, when it leaves this area, then you have to watch what's going on your, whoops, I don't know why I'm moving that. You watch this, everything, until, then you get a drop right here. You get a mow coming right off of that. Everything is always under this, and under this. So if you drop your vertical line right there, even though you may miss the early part of that trade, the minute that drops through there, there's you another mow. And let's say we take it a bar late, right there. You can't always see them. See, on my chart, I'll show you the end of my chart in a minute. I don't want to take time to go back over there. And even though you would probably XXX right here, because the way this thing is going tells it's going up, it's out of the channels. It didn't reach the Tiger Tunnel, but it's still touching the Bollinger Band. So it's telling you that this was a good place to do. Now, you didn't make many pips on this deal, but they'd all be whole pips, so you'd have 165 twice. Well, that's 130. Now, I'm going to show you why I don't do F12. See, my chart looks like this over at the end. I don't have all this stuff over here to interfere with my decisions, and so I don't like the F12 over in this thing here because of all the stuff's there. That's not a good exercise with all of the chart, all the stuff on there. Now, let's go back. Where were we? Randy, excuse me for my little outburst there a while ago, but I've done my F12s. You're the one who's got to do the F12s and learn what these things look like. I already know what they look like. I'm not in training here. Where did I start? Oh, it was back behind this. Okay, lost my place there. It's got to be someplace close by here. Where were we? Well, we're too far back. Anyway, let's go on up here to the front. Let's go back to where the panini started. Now you see what these arrows do? When you get in a place of spaghetti, obviously you know you're not going to trade that, and you're not going to trade this because you never really had a tradable bar, even though what these are doing is to wake you up out of your lethargy when you're doing word processing and grading homework, that something's going to happen here. And on the 5-minute chart, you're going to get 4 wake-up calls. Okay, so this is the last one. So this is telling you that it's going to go up, but you don't know it's the last one until you look at other factors here. See, when you see price keep going up that way, then you have your first mow, but it's not quite a mow yet. You want to wait till price gets out of there, and when it gets all of this, this is still spaghetti. So your mow does not begin until everything comes out of there. That's your first chance for a mow, right there. Everything is in its right order. Well, the blue still hadn't crossed the red yet, even though they're out of there. So that's your first place. Your second place, or your safe mow, your safest mow would be right there, because you can see that they're going, the angle and separation, they're going to cross. The non-lag moving average gives you another angle at things right here, a little stronger. So you could take either one of those. Now drop your vertical line on the first one and see what it looks like. Okay? And you could drop it on the second one just to see what that one looks like. See? This one, these are at the top, which is normal for a mow. Either entry there would be fine. Now look what happens when you go here. Bouncy, bouncy. What are you going to do there? You're going to exit. Or at worst, you're going to do an MX. Here's your first MX place right here. Chances are coming the stuff there. So how many pips were in your MX? Let's say you assume there and there. You'd still have 30 pips in your first MX. Then you could have an XX there because it's bouncing off of there and it's coming off of there. So when it goes under that bar, it's going to go back. Now you have another mow entry right here, but you have to look vertically. You mark that and you mark that. Is that an entry? I would say yes, it is an entry right there. Gets up there, then you see this again, Bollinger Band, and it's going to come down there. So this chances are this one is not going to be much of a winner, if at all. Your exit would be right there when it gets near that band. So this is probably a losing mow, one of our few losers. And if you wait to get out right there, the worst you're going to do is break even, not a loser. So you made some, you lost some. Okay. You come off of here, there's nothing going on in there. Look at those pin bars telling you what's going to happen here. This is an exit or something of some kind. Now you got another mow coming up here. Wait till those cross. Probably right there, maybe one bar earlier. It's hard to tell because we're not looking at the last bar, what it looks like there. And it goes up and goes sideways, touches that. That's either an XX or an MX. You have to decide. This is telling you it's going down, so chances are I might exit there. And that's what that accelerator's for. But whoops, I wanted to draw a. So even if you exited there, that was 30 some odd pips twice, or 70 pips. It's not complicated, but it's not easy. Then you've got another mow right there. Drop a vertical line right there. Let's see what it looks like. Up, up, up. And coming off of there, you might want to exit. If you took an MX, the chances are you'd take it. When you see it drop under there and go that way, you would take an exit right here when it does that sideways on the tiger tunnel. And what you're going to have to do is play with the tiger tunnels. You're going to have to go back, clear back to the beginning, and just look at the relationship of price to those tiger tunnels and home base. You're not going to have all of your stuff here, but you'll have this stuff up there. You will not have the Vanini unless you want to set it just for that one exercise. Go back. See, I can get that Vanini back. I don't know how many bars we have to set it on, but we can get it. But I don't like to leave it on there because it uses so much resources on your computer. What did I do? I know what I did. Did I delete that sucker? No, I didn't. I guess I did. Oh, come on. Sure enough, I didn't. I bet I did. I did. Oh, mercy. Well, let's just go back and put it back on. Well, where did it go? Oh, there it is. Everything is set. Colors. It's still not there. Oh, I forgot to change the colors like my original intent. Let's go over there. So what we do, we go to the Vanini, edit, go to inputs, and we set that at 3000. See what happens. There we go. Now, I would advise you to change that and take it back to 1440, or the guy who invented this thing probably had some reason for keeping it at 1440. So for the exercise of scaling all the way back to the back and running through there, it's okay to do that. But look at where everything. Let's go back and look at this one right there. We had that up. We had the arrow from crossing home base. And on this little thing right here, this had it made a cross up at the same time. Tells you it's a pretty good place to enter. Right here, what did the exit show? And see, look here, the XXX shows you this is up here at the top and going sideways. And then, of course, you have your little dip there to tell you that, hey, this is giving you a good chance. Some reason to exit. There's no point in staying in a trade when this stuff's against you. Then you've got another entry right here. Why could you enter there? Look here. Let me get the pointer. This is ticked up. This has got a blue bar. This is going up. Tell you that's a place to enter. I would enter as soon as the bar crosses that max non-lag moving average. Up here, what does it tell you when to get out? Let's do a vertical line here. The first bar turns red. You got a red. You got this turning down, you got a little gap there, and this is up pretty high. So that's telling you, and this is going down, and this is up pretty high. So these things are telling you what to look for. This may be a good place to exit. At the worst, an MX, and if you did an MX, then you got your signal over here to exit. Look at the red bar here. You got that long pin bar there touching the Tiger Tunnel. That's telling you it's going to go down if it wasn't before. This is down and this is angling down. So if you didn't get out here, there was your last or your exit to save your butt, and you still made a few pippies on your mow here. And you're back into the da-da-da-da. This tells you that it's going to go down from there. So I think I would whoop in an entry right here. But no, I just don't like the looks of these things, so there's really no entry for me. And then you got another one crossing up, and there is no entry here for there. See, these two things right here, those are the bad and the dangerous mows, and they're not really mows. They just look like mows, and they fool you. Now you got a real mow possibility starting here. Everything's beginning to look right here. This is down and this is at the bottom and right there. So there's I would take a shot at that mow, even though it has not quite crossed there, but with the offset, it will. It would, and then you've got that angle and separation right there. So not much happens on this first one, but your MX would be right here, your first flat place. That's going up, this is going across, and this is down below there, which tells you this can rise up anytime, but right now looks like we're forming a longer term trend when it goes under that 60. And especially when you get that rise and it tucks back under there. So if you didn't exit here, you would be okay, but you could take a scale in right here because you still got that safety and you've got that nice ledge to work with there. So then you get this flat place, and as you know, I don't like flat places on the 5th flat bar, 4th or 5th, just depends the way it looks. I'm looking for a place to get out. You've had your doji, you've had that pin bar going down. It's not much of a pin bar, but it's still enough to tell you that you got 3 red and that blue bar there. I'm still looking for a place to get out with this happening here and this happening here, so get out. You still made a few pips. You didn't get hurt. And the max is not only about making pips, but it's also about keeping your psyche up and keeping you from having many losing trades. Okay, anybody got any questions at this point about what I've shown you on the 2 new things, the crossover alert and the tiger tunnels? Well, yeah, stick to perfect mows. For the folks new to this system, should we just stick to perfect mow? Why would you want to trade anything else when there's 10 or 20 of those a day? Now, we do trade other things. If you're sitting there and you're bored to death, some people are going to force a trade, or to try to force a trade, which is the worst habit in the world you can get into. You got to resist yourself and slap your hands and tell me, no, I'm not going to do that. So, but why should you take anything but perfect mows? And now, these are perfect mows. Even that's a perfect mow. Anything below that with angle and separation and price dropping under that thing, that's still a perfect mow. That's a perfect mow. That's as good a mow. It's a little sketchy, but with the non-lag moving average, which I introduced last week, it gives you another angle perception to it. So I'm not going to downgrade you and fault you for taking one. But see, if you start taking them here, first thing you know, this thing's going to be way up here. And you're going to say, oh, boy, I'm going to do that. So I want this thing, see, that's close enough right there with that angle. And actually, that angle may make your mow entry, let me show you here, that may make your mow entry right down here. So it may not be, I'm just simply, because I don't know exactly where that bar is going to appear, but it's, that is, how far down is that? It's 1, 2, 3 bars, 4 bars. So it's going to show up there that there's some angle and separation between those two right in there. And that, again, you're going to have to study charts and what looks like a perfect mow. And see, a bad mow will quickly tell you that it was a bad mow, even though it might make you some pips. It's going to turn out something like, well, like this crap, see? You might take that thing because it's above this and all that, but it's not a mow, and it's not going to make you much pips, and it's going to go sideways and bounce off of the tiger tunnels, and you're going to say, hit yourself on the forehead with your hands and say, oops, why did I do that? Jim said not to. Okay. See, this comes up right there with the perfect mow. Now let's find out if it's a perfect mow. Right there, you drop a line, red, down to bottom, going down. I'll take that trade any day of the week. That's a perfect mow. Angle and separation, etc. You go down here and looks, it drops down there. I don't know what it does, but if right here you've got at least something telling you that something's going on. This is beginning to trail up. This is already turned up. It's bounced off of that. You've got this coming up, so I might even probably exit the entire trade right there. Just looking at that. But it's not a bad little trade. Not a bad little trade at all. If you entered about right there, down there, that's 68 pips twice, or 60 pips twice, 120 pips. Go home, go play golf, whatever, do that. Look here, coming right behind it, a perfect mow. Now let's find out if it's a perfect mow. I would say that's a pretty good mow. The SRO, This is turning down. Take that little sucker, jump on it. And then you've got an MX right here. Looks like a good place to MX. How many pips did we MX to make sure? 30. Okay. See, you can get in the middle of that bar. It's okay. Actually, it happened at the top of the bar, but I just waited till it crossed there. So anywhere between the low of that bar and where I got in would be an entry place on that. And see what happens here? This we did an MX here. When I see this, I'm probably going to XXX and save what I've got here, because this has gone up and then it's done this way. This is not the best place to exit, and this is still down there. I don't know. I might hang with that one unit that I've got left is all. Since that's all I've got at risk, I might stay with it and see what happens here. Comes right up with another perfect mow. But I'm not liking the angle of the yellow line. You see, this is what disturbs me here. I don't know that I would take this one with that being so flat. Although it's going down, everything's down, and this is still down. So I've got to stay in. I might not take this one because of the flatness of that and that doji-like bar. But I'm just saying, you stay in there. You don't have to quit. And you come down here, and sure enough, what happens? Bounces right off of that. This is looking up, and it does right there. So if I didn't exit fully there, I would exit fully right there. Now let's see if that's the right move on this next bar. Well, I would say so. This is turning up. This is all going up, and that's going up. So I'd say that's a perfect. Let me move it up there to where it should be. Shut up. Move it up right there. Okay, so you wouldn't make anything on that second exit if you did enter there, but you did keep a little from this one. Not much, 20 pips. But hey, 10 to 14 pips. My buddy Charlie at our Forex meeting Thursday night, he said, "Yeah, I'll take all the 10 pip days you can give me." He paid $1,000 for the McGrew dots, and don't do it, guys. Don't even think about it. There are other things out there that do just as good a job, and you don't have to pay that much for them. And see, it comes right around there and gives you an opportunity to do it again, but with this flatness in the 21 line, I just don't like the looks of it. This is down here when you're entering the thing again, and this is all down here. It looks like it's rising up. I think I would pass. I'm almost positive I would. Let's just go back here and let's look at that. And I think I'll F12 that part. See, with that flat like that, I think I would just pass in this area here. I'm almost positive I would. So, see what happens. Then it goes down, goes back up, goes back down, goes back up. And there's nothing going on here that I want to get involved in, because it's all hanging around in here, in between the green tiger tunnel and the ballast line. It did that there, did it here. So I just don't think that that's something I want to get involved in. It may turn out profitable, but it doesn't look like very good to me. And see, look at it. It did it again. Bounced off of the Bollinger Bands and bounced up there. And then what did it do? Sooner or later, it took a shot up here, went up to the red balance line. Now, once it gets up there and it makes some decision, there with 2 bars or 3 bars in front of it, I might take a shot and get in on this bar somewhere, with this having crossed the 0 line there. This is going down, this is going down, and that's going back down. So I might take a shot at this one. It's a little higher up, and it gives you better odds of making something on it, where this stuff, the odds just don't look good when it's that flat. But once it goes up and comes back down a little, I'll take a shot at that. And see, it didn't go much, but it kept you out of the poorhouse, though. Look at those sideways pin bars. Look at all that crap. And it does the same thing here. So chances are I'm going to exit pretty quick. There's nothing wrong with Frady Cat, as I've shown you guys, and I don't fault you on your trades when you get Frady Cat unless you just do it too many times. But see, that's still 16 pips, twice as 30 pips. You can get rich on these little trades right there. But you see, you've got to stay out of these. You've got to stay out of that crap there. And this will tell you when this is going up and this is that way. There's a lot of indecision from this area to this area is a lot of indecision. Until you get 2 or 3 bars in a row that tell you something. You had 3 bars going up, you had 2 bars going down, 2 and 3. It just, none of those things just looked like they had any potential to me. Now that's hindsight. But, you know, hindsight is still, when you're looking right here, it's still hindsight when you're looking at this side of the chart and you're looking right there. Worst you can do is dump off maybe 120 pips here by getting in with 30 pips and losing 220 or losing 2 units and losing 2 units over here. You lose 120 pips if you want to trade that stuff. So the risk of loss is greater for 120 pips here than there is anything you can gain once it starts this crap here. Bouncing off of look at that, 3 bounces off of the tiger tunnel. Could I place those tiger tunnels any better? Okay. And look what happens. Mother Nature gives us another shot at it. And let's see what that looks like with an F12 right there. You see, you're going to miss this one probably, unless you're wide awake and you see this 1 bar back. I don't know how you get 1 bar back. Move it back 1 bar. You look at that and you look at this. This doesn't look like it's a trading situation at all. So you move it 1 more bar, and it looks like it's a trading situation, but you can only see this part of the bar and this and this and this. So if you're going to enter that trade, you're going to have to enter it somewhere around that tiger tunnel right there to make it profitable. But see, look what happens when you do. Goes on sideways, and I would do an MX right on that tiger tunnel. When that bar went sideways, I'd get rid of half of that because this can turn against you pretty quick. And look what it does. It goes sideways right there. So, but you've got a chance for scale in here now. It's a chance for scale in. MX there, enter there, MX there, scale in. And then I've got an XXX right there. The way this market has been bouncing on this thing here, that's a place to enter or exit. All of this is going up, this is going up, this is going up. This is that, and this is headed up that way. Now, it's beginning to level out here, so it may come back. So this is a decision that you'd have to make right here. Do I want to take a shot at entering? So I would probably risk 2 units right here, right there, and do a mow. And see, look what happened. Well, it didn't turn out so bad. But see, goes down here and bounces. Now you got the. Now here's a problem you have at this point. When you see that, and I took that mow right there. When you do this, I wish that thing would do. You see the third bar here. Let me go back just 1 bar. On the 4th or 5th bar right there, I'm way looking for a place to exit. Now this has got your divergence right there. This is going down, this is curving up and so forth. So I'm going to exit on this 4th bar right there. Right there. You get 2 of them in a row. Don't make anything, you don't lose anything on that trade. You made a nice trade here. This trade, by being patient and staying out of the crap, made 140 pips once, 30 pips 1 time, and 33 pips twice. I didn't MX there. I mean, I didn't scale in after that re-entry. Probably should have, but I didn't, and I didn't call it. So, let's see what happens here. And see, now it keeps doing this, and it keeps doing this, and you still got this angle, and you have to look at all of this stuff at one time, what's going on here on this chart. Look at all of this stuff. Everything is still pointed down, even though this has come up there. It's giving you another opportunity for a perfect mow right there, right at that doji sign. So let's take a shot at it. And I haven't looked past this. Down, down, down. This is hooked up. That's the only thing that scares me is that bar right there. And look, it still do that, see? So it turns around. I'm probably going to lose 20 pips on this thing. Goes up here. Where would my stop have been? Let's mark it. If I entered there, my stop would have been probably above the red line. That's 81. And in a danger spot like that, probably at that Tiger Tunnel, it would have still been 50 pip stop, 55 pip stop. So I'm going to lose 100 pips on that little situation there. Unless I stay with it, which is still stupid to stay with something like it. So I lose 100 pips there. Look, it comes right around and comes back. So there's the test. Do you take this one when it comes up, or do you not? Well, it's hard not to with this turning down and that turning down. So you would enter. You would have to do this. You just have to get even though you get screwed here, you're going to get your 100 pips back on the next one. So look at all that. And see, look what happens on that one. That turns into a pretty nice one. You would do an MX right there, probably. And then you have a scale in on that one. And then you got an XXX right there. That's all kind of confusing there. This is kind of a confused chart to play with. There's no really, with me doing it spaced up together like this, I don't really get a good feel for what's going on, even though the home base is angled down there. If I'm trading this chart, I keep mine a little squeezed up a little better. So I see now I've got a better feel of what's going on. This has been just a price of a bunch of instability here. But see, when I can see it like that, I get a better picture of what that is. And it's a mental thing, but to show you guys the exact entries and stuff, I have to keep it squeezed up like this. So see, that doesn't look like trading worth a damn, period. And then this is really hard trading there. So, and that was your last good trade, and then I'll have the loser here. Where was it? Yeah, there was the loser. You come up here, and I've got to take a shot at that right there. In there, turned into a pretty nice little trade. And I'm going to XXX right there with all of this stuff. This is at the bottom. That's at the bottom. That's the place where you want to exit, always at the bottom. You want to enter when it's at the top, except for that one thing on the Mo. You see, this is just coming off of the top, so that's okay. Now, my computer's met. Now, see, look what happens after all of this. So, easily, your entry would be probably somewhere around there, because you're going to let that take a shot there that everything's turned down again. I would wait. Again, there's nothing wrong with being patient. It's going to cost me 3 pips maybe to wait for that bar instead of that bar. So look at all this down here. Now look at a free flow home base here. When you get one of those, you get a good one, and that's what we've been looking for. There. I think I will wouldn't take this one because it's so well. It isn't that close to it. No, that's one. It's 5 pips off, and I would probably take that one. And then, being that I've got all of these open here, I'm probably going to XXX when that goes sideways right there. This is all going up. This is headed up. It's got a doji there, and this is kind of turned up here. But you've got these little signs. Now, you're not going to be able to enter on the same bar I do, but you're not going to miss it very far. The difference in if you wait, if you wait until you exit right there, there's 10 pips difference, but it's on 4, 5 scale ends, or 4 scale ends and a Mo. But still, there's a lot of pips there. But it's not gonna make or break you. This is a learning process that you're going through. Now, see, you get another chance right there. Why not? I'm going to take a shot at that. Boy, I got money in the bank after the last 2 trades, even with that one loser, which was nothing, so to speak. So it bounces off of this and goes back up here. So my stop would be, let's see, where would the old stop-o be? Probably, I wouldn't get it that close. No, but I don't know how many pips that is. Well, that was the exit. Here's the entry. Probably right there would be my stop. So I'm probably going to let that ride. We still got good angle separation there, but the flatness of the 21 tells you danger, and these sidebars like that tell you danger. And just write that word danger on your chart, and it'll trigger what I just told you: danger, flatness, and sideways movements. But you've got this stuff telling you that it's probably okay to do it because we've been in such a nice long trend. This has been going on for 100, 200 bars. You go back up here, and I don't care what I did right here, I'm going to have to take a shot at this one right there. I'm just going to have to do that. And if I don't, I'm not following my own game plan. Now see, still sideways movement. I don't like any of this here, but I'm going to take this when I get into that kind of a mess. Whoops. Well, why didn't it want to let me move it? Son of a bitch. Oh, Turjay showed me a way to, anyway, I'm going to move my stop. See, when I see something like that, I'm kind of going to move my stop to the outside of that Bollinger Band, even though, because I'm sitting there and I've got this one open and I got this one open. So I'm going to move that stop up pretty tight because I got 2 units affected there. The chances are I'm going to eliminate 2 of those units right here. Because see, it's gone this sideways enough, and this is squeezed up enough that it can go either way. But let's suppose I just eliminate the first 2 units here. It's 20 pips times 2 is 40, but I might stick on this. I might remove one of those. It all depends on, you see, my emotional thing. But look at all these pips we've gathered. So I'm not really gambling anything, taking anything, but those are still modes. As long as this condition exists and the angles, it's still modes. But let's see what happened. It goes there, and I emptied some, but I'm not going to add any right now in that flatness. I'm just going to ride that. Now look here what we're beginning to get. We're beginning to turn downward. So I'm pretty safe that I'm not going to be stopped out, but I'm going to trail that stop and move it right on down here. I've actually trailed it almost into profit on this one. And I don't know, an exit right there sure looks tempting. See, you got all this stuff going on, and this has gone up, but this is down, and this is still down. So I'm going to probably stay with it. Ooh, okay. Well, I made the right decision, but that was a 50-50 toss-up there. At least I was willing, if I was going to gamble, it was just on how much I was going to make or lose on this one trade from my entry right there. See, from right there to right there, that's my break-even point right there. So now I will just let it ride. And I might re-enter, probably at one of these places here, I would have re-entered. After all of that, when I get a nice ledge like that with the dojis and stuff, chances are I'll re-enter right there on that bar. And see, look what's happening. So I get this sideways stuff there. I'm going to exit. When it comes back to that bar right there, I'm going to exit everything there. I'm going to lose a few pippies on that, but I'm going to make some pippies on that original one that I stuck with. Hot dog, 40 pips twice. But still, that's not a bad deal. Now, look here. Comes on, and even though it's there, you've got to mow, and you know you've got to take that entry when it presents itself like that. Either not that one, but the chances are you're going to take this one, because that one didn't turn into a mow, but this one does. This one does. No, it doesn't. I'm sorry. That's got to be moved down here. Here would be here's your entry right there at the top of that bar, because you didn't really have an entry there. And this one turns up pretty good with an MX here and a scale in right there. And triple X right there. when a market like this, even though it's in a nice long-term trend, I'm going to keep banking profits as I have to. So this one, even though it's not a really great max, it's a good mow for 40 pips twice and one scale in, 10 pips. Okay, so when this stuff starts beginning and this thing keeps going sideways and the Bollinger Band broke there, but it's coming back in here, I'm not going to do any trading. All of this stuff right there, I don't like it. Why? We don't have to trade crappy situations like this. This is nuts. So, and it may go on down 100 pips, but all of that stuff is just telling you that when this keeps going up in this way, that you can call those ledges or whatever, but the percentage is against it because the overall chart is going sideways compared to, let me mark that, squeeze it up. The overall chart is going sideways in this area here. Where was I there? No, there it is back here. See, the overall chart's going sideways. So I'm going to wait for some definition of looking at this and see. Now this area is telling us that was a mow, even though I wouldn't take the trade there probably because that's the first one. Remember the channels that I told you about, the Donchian channels. You're going to get a situation right like that. You've got the Bollinger squeezed up there, so until it comes out of that, I'm probably not even going to take the first one because this would happen. But then look what happens. It drives you right in to an absolutely perfect mow, as good a mow as you will ever find right there. Now, it may not go very far, and with the market in the condition that it is, the chances are I would exit the whole damn thing right there because I'm still scared because of all of this stuff here. But you got to take what it gives you, and was your MX and one scale in on that one. How many pips was that? Right there, you didn't do anything with that one. This one. 75 pips, and the next half of it was 30 pips, so it's still 150 pips. You get a nice drop off like that. This was going with you, and by waiting, look what I got. By waiting, look what happened. Whereas if I'd have jumped in right here, I wouldn't have ever felt comfortable. This is at the bottom, but this is still kind of going up. So you've got this is a mow trap, and this is a perfect mow, just to see how far they are an hour apart. Okay, how far are we? Yeah, we're on time. So this you've got some more ammunition. Now, let's go back to this. See, look how long this trend goes on, and you see it keeps doing this. If I can look at the overall chart and see this, I might be more prone to take some of these things, but when they're squeezed up like that, you don't really get a view of what's going on because it's so choppy that way. I want to see the whole thing right there. See, I can see that, or actually this one squeeze. And then when it comes down here and it goes back over, look what happens. You got bing, 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 bing. Okay, it went down. So you don't know what to do here, but there's your perfect mow coming out of there. There is an absolutely perfect mow. So you got to take that. You didn't make anything to speak of because it's going to turn right around and go back into the spaghetti. I'm sorry, that's not a mow. Yeah, that's still a mow. Yeah, sorry, because it's going away from that and it's under that. But it goes right back into the spaghetti and hides. So for some reason, the pips are afraid to come out and play with there. But you still made 20 pips or two deals twice. Then it goes back up and goes through there. You got a bing going up. And do you want to do this or not? Well, you don't really have a mow until you get over here, do you? See, knowing that this is crap and not a perfect situation, the only way you could have traded that was this would have been here if home base hadn't have been here. That would still have been tradable, but it's not in the safety valve category that I like. You got to eliminate risk. Now see, look there. You got an absolutely perfect shot at a mow. Right there. You would enter at the bottom of that bar, that blue bar. Right? there. Up, just a fresh, almost across there. There's a cross there. Everything's up. That's going to go for probably more than 100 pips, and you're going to get up there. Why would you stay in a trade when it almost got to the outside, one of the outside tiger tunnels? You got a red MACD arrow. You got these 3-4 bars there sideways. Why would you not get out? Why would you even think about not getting out there? Now, would you have had an MX? Probably not any place for a good MX, with that, especially with that angle. You're okay, but look what happened right behind all that trash. 90 pips, twice. And if you knew how to do this, there's 180 pips right behind it. We're going to teach you that. I think I'm going to teach you the Primo and the other stuff at another time. So that gives you an idea of what to look for. And you have to take the entire chart into consideration and space through it. Space it up kind of close so you can get a good feel for the entire chart. Go back to the back here. You don't have to have the bottom part to get the relationship. Now see, if you scroll like this, I want you to look where the price goes in relationship to those tiger tunnels. This is a very important lesson. You see how it hangs there and it peaks on there, and this one it peaked right on that one and then came off of the other one. And it'll do this so many times. Look at that. Look at this. Goes along there, drops right down to that one, and goes right on back up to the next one. So you've got to get a feel for what those tiger tunnels do, and the only way you're going to do it is to scroll like I'm doing, just to get a bird's eye view of what happens when there. You don't see it when you've got it spread out like this to examine these. I only do this for exact entries, to help you with exact entries. So let's squeeze her back. Now you get a feel for what's going on there, and you trade through, and put this on any time frame. Look at this. Let's put it on a 4-hour. This will drive you nuts. You will see so many pips that you just wouldn't believe it's possible. Look at this Mo coming off of this 4-hour. Look at that, coming off a home base, coming off of the 4-hour. You get this absolutely gorgeous, perfect frickin' Mo right there. I mean, that's as perfect as you're going to get it coming down there. Actually, you could have done it up here, but I still don't like, because you're up above that thing. But look how many pips, if you get, even if you XXX'd right there where everything told you there might be, that first leg of that Mo on the 4-hour chart is 521 pips with 1, 2, 3 scale ends. That's 1,000 pips. So you get a different thing, but this is the same chart, the same thing. You don't have to learn anything to trade the daily, the weekly. God, if you like this one guy asked me, how about weekly and daily chart? Well, hey, look at this Mo coming off of that weekly. This is a weekly chart. Where would you trade? Right there. See, look, it made that pullback, even on the weekly chart. My God, you wouldn't even have to look at your charts but once a week. Right there. See that Mo entry right there? Even it's kind of late. How many pippies would that be till you got down here to there's your break right there's an MX, there's an MX or re-entries, but without any re-entries or exit till it goes down. It's 2,600 pips. So this system works on any time frame. There's one other thing I think I'm going to add for you today, which doesn't do anything except it's just there. I'm going to have to send it to you separately. It's the signal bars, which tells you what's going on in the upper time frames. If I can find it in this mess of stuff here that I've been playing with this week. There it is right there. Signal bars version 1. And you're going to have the password. You might want to write this down right now. Oh, that's Marauder. That's the wrong one. Sorry. There's Max Signal Bar. That's what I want. The password is free underscore at TSD. You want to go down here a little lower. You want to set this to corner of right chart on the top. On the bar, signal bars window, we're going to put it in this window right here. So we want to put it in window 1. And then we want to put it, show smaller size, true. Those are the 3 things you need to do. And it pops right in there. What this shows you, there's your EMA right there, what it's doing in the upper time frame. There's an M1, way all the way up to daily 1. Your ST, I don't know what the hell that is. I can't read it. But your MACD, all of these things, I see on the 1 minute chart, they're all green. On the 5 minute chart, they vary from green to red. On the daily chart, they're red. So it gives you a feel for what's going on up above you. Now, if we put this back on a 5 minute time frame, you'll see what I'm talking about. Okay, and see, it shows the 1 minute, everything there on the 1 minute, which would be included in that bar, is green. On the 5 minute, it's red, and the MACD is red, and the ST, stochastics is orange. So it tells you that in the daily chart, it's headed down. On the 1 minute chart, it's headed up. It gives you the spread on the pair, the pips to the open, and high to low during the day, and so forth. But you have to adjust it. It does not travel, and you have to reinstall it on every pair that you put it on, because this thing has got some weaknesses, and I'm not a programmer, so I don't know how to correct those, but it does not travel well. So when I send you the template, I'm going to send you this separately so you can add it there. And what you did, you go back to the video. I will try to send you the settings on this, the 3 things that you have to change, so you won't have to wait till the totally end of the video to do it. And what I want you to do, I want you to do some homework. I want you to remember these arrows. This is telling you that when price gets around home base and plays in this area, that something's about to happen. This is your initial key to all trades, begins at home base. All of our trade. Now look how long price stayed over home base here. But see, the last arrow, the only way you know it's the last arrow is because price starts moving away from home base. So your first max entry would be somewhere about right there. And this is up, and this is headed up. So, and you've got your bars there with your accelerator, oscillator. This is just another tumble that we toss in to give you confirmation. And then there's your trend starting to go up. Now you really can't see what's going on here very well when you're playing with this squeezed or squeezed out, so you can see it from your guys' standpoint. It would look like this, but you see, you can't really get a feel for what this is doing until you squeeze it back down. It's your area, and you can see this is a flat trend here, and this would be pretty dangerous stuff. But at least if you see this, you're okay in adding your scale ends at each place. But when you see it spread out, it looks like each one's an individual trade, and it doesn't look like, and you're not going to utilize the power of the max until you're able to trade with it with this setting, so you can see what's going on here. Look at that first bounce right off of the green tiger tunnel. This is absolutely perfect. Couldn't be any stronger. And it plays between the tiger tunnel and home base. All of that first. Then when it gets out of there, this tells you something that, hey, this stuff is really getting ready to move. Boy, I feel great about taking scale ends after I see it past that first or second, once it gets past that support line there. Bouncy. So there, if you were doing trend lines, that's what these things serve as trend lines. And price, this green trend line was resisting it going through, but once it breaks through there, it goes right on up to the next one and plays around there for a while. and it comes out of there and bounces right back down there, and then it goes up to the next one for a while. So these tiger tunnels will give you a lot of comfort when you're making a decision to exit a trade or to enter a new mow right there. Now, this mow may not look like very much, you get in there, but it's still a perfect mow with everything in your favor. And if you MX there at the top and you SC there and you exit there, that gives you a lot of comfort. My God, that one trade's enough to make your day 70 pips and 40 pips. So it's 100 pips twice. That's 200 pips, and that took you all of, I mean, you're at risk for all of 9 5s or 45 minutes. And you got another one coming right behind it, see? Just exactly like that. If you do nothing but trade these perfect mows, that's all you need to know. I could have told you that in one day, but you need to know the foundation of how all of this stuff works together. It's synergistic, it's dynamic, but the basic mow is static. And people aren't going to understand that who don't understand it. And I wrote this guy back on that one in Money Tech, and I told him, I said, look, we have a very innovative proprietary method of money management. And without explaining it to you, you will never understand how we count pips. And I don't really care if they understand or not. But I told him, I said, but it's amazing. We've had a waiting list for the last 3 trainings. So, but see, and you can see this more clear. Bing, 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 bing. You see what price does in Mother Nature's home here? When it drops out of there, it drops you absolutely into the most perfect little, sweet little mow you ever laid eyes on right there. Just absolutely perfect. Got a nice straight angle down, which is a tight angle. You get your ledge that forms right there. You've got your XXX. All that sideways stuff right there, and all of this stuff is conjoined here. And this is only 115 pips. That's 200, that's 350 pips right there. How many minutes? By waiting for the perfect mow, we were in that just right at an hour, depending on where you exit along this trash down here. And see, you don't have to take a shot at doing this kind of crap here. Just do the perfect mows. That's all I want to see. I want you to learn what a perfect mow looks. Look at this. This is a perfect mow right here, right there. My God, look at that. Whoops, I didn't get the right hold of the right thing. Look at this. Right on up there and stopped right at that tiger tunnel. You could have exited right there. It's 115 pips twice, or your ledges or scale ends. So these things are so prevalent out there that most people don't have a clue what they are. And you don't have to share with them what you know. They don't need to know this. Because if you share it with them, they may get the wrong idea, because this is the concept, and you've got to get a feel for this entire picture there. Take a picture of that and trade it. So you can't take it down by the little parts and do your 10-pip dealies. Even that mow right there, even as late as it might have been, actually it would have been on back there. But see, you got to scale it at each one of these places, and all of these are marked for you. So do your own F12s, do your trade simulator, put this in the trade simulator, and just wait for these things to come along that I've shown you what to look for. Look at that. Boy, you know without even thinking that sooner or later this thing is going to bust out of this damn thing. And that's your own little channel builder right there, home base. Absolutely home base. And even if you do get caught in this one right here, which is admittedly not the greatest place to trade, but it is a mow, and it only pays you, even if you got out sideways there on the tiger tunnel, it only pays you 50, let's see how many pips, 50 some odd pips, or if you ride it all the way to the bottom until it changes, 70 pips twice. Chances are I wouldn't. I would have to re-enter there. I've got to get out and take a look at that sideways and wait for if that ledge forms. If it doesn't form, I did the wrong thing and right thing, and if it does form, then I got another shot at it. Mother Nature's going to give me another shot if I'm patient. So you don't do this haphazardly. Look at all this. Anybody in their right mind is not going to trade trash like this. You've got prices embedded between that Tiger Tunnel and home base. Why would anybody want to trade that? You might want to take a shot at that first mow and trade that, but then after that you can see that there's absolutely nothing going on. And that's visual stuff. You didn't marry your wife because you knew her. You married her because she was pretty, probably, if you're like most men. So, and even this. And look at that. Anyway, and this happens on the 10 pairs. And Jerome, thank you so much. Wait a minute, am I talking? Am I mentioning got the right name? The guy that did the documentation of the outlines of the trainings. Listen, I want to thank you very much for Stephen. That's it, Stephen Mundy. I want to thank you for that. You're doing a lot of stuff, and it's going to be useful when we put the stuff together. We're going to do a book on it. Montana Slim's working on it. I'm not sure exactly what we're all going to do, but we're going to gather up a lot of data and some pictures, and Chris handles part of it, and Montana Slim's doing it. But we're going to provide you with a reference manual when this is over. Hopefully I'll have it done by then. It's not a training manual. It is a reference manual and shows you the various indicators, and basically it'll show you pictures of chart just to refer for your mind, and you'll join the graduate group and see what stuff is going on with them. But this indicator, now next week we're going to introduce another indicator, which again is going to make your job even easier. But for now, I want you to start right here with your mows and coming off a home base. You don't need to do any F12s off that unless you just want to. They're going to be there when you get there. And 10, this happens on the 5-minute charts with the 10 pairs we watch. And I don't even like the New Zealand dollar because it's got too many sharp points. It's a nice thing to trade, but it's difficult to keep up with because it's got too many choppiness. No offense to you, Chris. Okay, that's about it. Now let's go for a few questions. I'll give you about 5 more minutes to answer some questions. How about a max convention someplace warm? Well, we've been talking about that. Angela from Australia and other places, a cruise would do real good. We could get one with wireless service and play with it. And Steve, oh yeah, hey Steve, put page numbers on those damn things. It drives me crazy. Oh, even though it's going to be a different part. Don't be crushed, Stephen. I will sign the notes for session 4 about a max convention. What about the short trade method? We don't have time to go over that properly today. That will be one of the first things I hit next time on session 5. And I don't think you're ready for that yet, and you're not ready for live training. But after next session, I'm going to turn you loose to do some demo training with the short, what I call the primos. Let's don't call them scalps or they're counter trend trades, but actually they're primos because about half of them will turn into an elongated mow, and that's the nice thing about the way we do it. Again, they've got to be a perfect setup, or we don't do them. But you can make 35 to 50 pips a trade, and you can have 2 or 3 of those a day, and I'll be starting teaching you those next time. And please do your homework. Remember, 2 homeworks or 2 charts on 1 post.
Hello,
it's a long and a short on 1 post. Yes.
Sorry about this. Couple of questions about the AC have kept coming up.
Okay.
What colour should it be when you're entering a mow?
Say that again.
What colour should the AC oscillator be when entering a mow?
Well, it should be the direction that you're looking at. If it's long, it's got to be blue, and if it's short, it wants to be red.
Okay, it seemed like some of the mows were contrary.
The mows, well, the perfect mows will normally be Now let me draw a line here and show you this. This is something I probably didn't. But see, you draw it. I'm drawing this because look where that falls in that ledge, the crossover, the crossing the line. See, right there. But we wait until we get up here. We have the better entry is at the high there, which is coming off of probably the last bar of the red there. And it's okay if it's in the first blue bar, that's not a big deal because it's all down and we know it. But see, this is a very peculiar place to that too. Look how flat the EMA, the home base 233 is. But normally on your mows and your entries, this blue thing is going to be the right directions. Remember, you don't have to have 100% confirmation because on your mows, this is usually going to be up here at the top. Normally. The rest of it will be almost in tune with it, but this is going to be at the top. Now, once in a while, even that will be in confirmation. You look at this mow here, right there. See, this is still going up. It's just made a W. You're not quite at the top yet. You know, there's nothing 100%, guys, and don't take it. The mow, the three EMAs, home base, and your basic MACD diamonds are static. Those don't ever change. The interpretation of a chart, nothing is going to be 100% all the time. If you can achieve 80%, you're a miracle worker, but we get 90%, don't we, Eusebio? If you follow the rules. I defy anybody to trade for 3 days with my stuff and to lose money. 3 days of trading. I'm not talking about just one trade, any one trade. You can have a series of bad trades. But usually the bad mows are not that. It's just that the guy that did it was stupid like me. I make bad entries occasionally, but then it goes by a little bit and I thought, I didn't want to do that. That's not what I meant. Because even these are not going to hurt you. See? It's hard to make a bad perfect mow entry. It's just hard to do it. You got to really work at being stupid, but trying to make a mow when these three lines are in that order, it can't make a mow. It's got to be in this order: red, blue, yellow, and green, or red, blue, yellow, and red, depending on whether it's up or down. If they're in that order, it's hard to make a bad entry. It's really tough to do. But boy, some people are thick-headed and they're going to make it hard. And see, when it bounces off of that, you've had your bing, bing, bing. All the tumblers are in a row here. Everything's in a row here. It would be hard to lose money by just looking for those entries that don't look too great. Right there to there. Excuse me. Okay. More questions. Yeah, have you had a losing day at all, Eusebio, since August or July? Eusebio? A losing day. I'm not talking about a losing trade. 4 days since June. Now, how about that, guys? And he trades every day. So, and how much were those losses very big, or were they all your fault, or were they because you made bad mows, or can you define any way that that was personal negligence? Because my losses are usually my fault, not the max. If I break a rule or pinch a rule or tweak a rule right in the middle of trading, sometimes I'll get a loser, but that's my fault. Max loss minus 140. Look at that. Look at that. For a guy who's made 216,000 pips and he lost 140. Max loss. Okay, that's wow. That's wow. Wayne Moss. Jim, I did lose last week on a trade that I closed out manually. Well, why did you do that? I mean, was it a Max loss trade, or was it a Wayne Voss loss trade? No, I'm sorry, that's true. The different colors of the tunnels don't mean anything, really. They are kind of color-coded so that if you're in the green area, you know it's fairly close to home base. If you're in the tan or yellow area, you know you're getting further away. And remember this, the further away you are from home base, the more likely you are to have a reverse. See that red, boy, when you get out into that area, that's an area that the 5-minute chart rarely reaches, but it does. You're going to learn this by doing your scrolls from front to back on different pairs. Now, the pound yen gets out here a lot of times, but the pound dollar sometimes, and the euro dollar rarely gets out between these two lines here. You're going to learn, the only way you're going to learn that, and I don't have it written down any place, and the only reason I know it, the width to set the tunnels was because of scrolling through various charts. And the weekly and the daily and monthly charts, they get far out there, but that's simply because you're dealing with much higher numbers. And the only way you're going to learn that is you got to take the same pair, the pound yen, and scroll through a 1 minute, a 5 minute, a 30 minute, and so forth, and do that on just one pair, and you will see the interaction the tunnels has with the numbers and how magnetically price is drawn to the nearest tiger tunnel. Magnetically, it's just like you put a magnet up there. And the only way you're going to own that and learn that and have confidence that when price gets off of that chart, it can go down, it can go sideways, or it can go this way and go back up. And rarely, when it bounces off, this tells you something, that's a good place to exit. I don't care whether it bounces around and goes back up again, you can always re-enter. But touching a tunnel, the third or fourth tunnel from any place is usually a pretty good place to exit. This is the 1, 2, 3, 4th tunnel but that's on a 5-minute chart. When it hits that 4th tunnel or close to that, that's probably the first good exit sign is a place to exit. And they're none of them perfect because some of them just go right on through, go bip, 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 and they may go right on through way up to here. But I'll tell you what, when it comes off of that, oh no, when it comes off of that yellow line or that red one way far out here, I'm telling you, it goes with a plummet, just like a parachute is just going straight down. But you are going to have to do those tunnels, and it's your loss if you don't. You can't believe what I tell you because I'm a liar and a thief and a scumbag and all that stuff. But see, those tunnels won't lie to you, and Mother Nature won't lie to you. So you got to do that so you'll know to believe me, and what I tell you is the truth. Okay, enough said about that today. Do your scrolls. Now, on your homeworks, I only want perfect mows coming off of home base where you've interacted with the deal. And these bingers will drive you crazy on a 5-minute chart. There's a bing, there's a bing, there's a bing. You got 10 charts of binger on it like that, even that, because all charts will settle around home base, and you'll get a lot of bings on that. But it's not as bad as a 21 or a moving average cross, which crosses every time you get as long in here. So we're working on a way to fix that, but I don't know. You're just going to have to put up. But it's good if you're in the kitchen making a Coke or something like that, and it goes bing, 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 you know that you need to go take a look. And you will get conditioned. Here's the problem with the bingers. You will get conditioned to not pay any attention to them. The first one or the second one. It's rarely that the first one gets the action because price is going to hang around home base there. But you have to check it. Look at this. Bing, 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 bing. And see? And those are probably an hour apart, though. They're not just like they bing every 5 minutes. But if you get 10 of them going, you got a lot of possibilities for binging. And the bingers will drive you crazy. Now, if you're on a 4-hour chart, like this, bingers don't mean much. Look at that. There's one bing in 4 hours. Maybe it's two. It's a whole day before you have another bing here. And here you have bing, 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 all this stuff like that. But it's still, those bings are over a period of 2 or 3 days. See? So the different time frames have their different idiosyncrasies. If you put them on a daily chart, the bings, you just don't get that many bings. But the most money to be made in the quickest fashion, in the safest fashion, is on the 5-minute chart because of the size of your stops and the percentage of winners on a 4-hour chart, that is a perfect move. Good God, how many pips was that? See, and how many re-entries did you get? So, for people who don't want to trade the daily or the 4-hour charts because of the size of the stops, once you get your bankroll built, you can sure make your life easy by playing with the 4-hour charts. Okay, guys, I'm out of here. Thank you for being so patient with me. Do the homework, one long and one short on one post. If you have a question, you can direct it directly at Chris or me or Eusebio. But you can normally do your questions in your homework, and we'll try to answer them at the same time we're grading your chart. Look at God, look at that. I mean, how many of those would, even though there's your Mo right there, and it's on top. See, this is headed downward. So, and this is a questionable. Your Mo, actually, your safe Mo is right there on the 4-hour chart. Sometimes I take a shot right there, depending on the time. But now, it's not for you to make that decision. The rules are here. If you lose on one like this, it ain't my fault or the most fault. It's your fault. If you wait here and do it, you give up a few pips for the safety. And remember, safety is what we're working on. There's 564 pips, but anything in between here and here is gambling. That's why I'm telling you. Safety. See, you got one coming down off of there. Look at that. That's another 500 pips. Oh, this is so beautiful. The 4-hour chart is so beautiful. Okay, reminds me of that Playboy model on the cover of this month's Playboy magazine. Well, guys, that's it for me today. I thank you. I will be sending you a chart later this evening. As soon as I get it put together, I'll add the little special sauce, the 2 indicators, the two new ones. You've got all the rest of the stuff. But please use the settings for the tunnels and the EMAs and all that stuff that are on this chart. Because they don't vary, I mean, maybe a tick or two from one week to the next. But use the settings that I send you. If you have a question about the settings not being to your liking, send me an email. I'll tell you to shut up and do what I told you, but seriously, use the settings on the chart, and I will get that stuff out to you. I'll send it to Chris, and I'm going to send the chart and the 2 indicators separately so that they don't get a chance to get garbled up, because some things just don't travel well, especially the non-lag moving average. It doesn't travel well at all, so you might have to reinstall that non-lag moving average. Okay, guys, I hope you have a nice weekend. I'm going to take a young lady out for a movie and dinner and a vanilla martini tonight. So I'm going to take my relaxation tonight. That's it. I'm out of here.